Welcome to Nightchild Talks Prince, uncut and unscripted. So welcome back to Nightchild Talks Prince, uncut, where every single day is a yellow day. I'm blinded by the daisies in your yard. Today, I just wanted to catch up with everybody, and there's 5 little pieces of news that I wanted to go through. Kind of different things going on in the Prince world. First of all, Prince's guitar. I mean, Prince's iconic cloud guitar, one of the cloud guitars, is up for sale at Julien's Auctions. Now, I've said before about auctions, I kind of have mixed feelings about these auctions. On one hand, you know, I want Prince to be celebrated, but there's so much of Prince's guitars, so many of Prince's guitars, so many of Prince's letters, so many of Prince's even answer phone messages that are in other people's hands. They've just ended up in other people's hands. So much of his clothing, so many items that Prince owned just end up in other people's hands. And there's something, it's difficult about that. On one hand, I would like the estate to own everything. That would be great to bring it all in house. But on the other hand, there was an argument that perhaps by having it in lots of people's hands, different people's hands, it won't all be in one place. So if something happens to Paisley Park, God forbid, or any major collection of Prince's artifacts, by having it all in one place, it kind of puts all your eggs in one basket, as it were. I'm also a bit worried because I don't want it to be just the, private collection of rich people behind closed doors that nobody gets to see. So I hope this guitar is made public when it's bought. Anyway, it's up for sale. It's Prince's Cloud 3 guitar, the yellow. It's painted at the moment, although obviously it's been painted different colours before. It was thought to have disappeared years ago, and it's quite an interesting story on Forbes.com, where they said that there were 4 cloud guitars made for Prince in the 1980s, and they said Cloud 1 is in the Smithsonian, and they sold Cloud 2, Julien's Auctions this is, for $600,000 several years ago. It would have sold in the millions, but Prince smashed it so he couldn't play it. And he never played Cloud 4, he gifted it to charity. But this guitar has actually been, apparently according to Forbes, in plain sight all along, but everybody thought it was a replica. Christie sold it twice, and the second time around it only went for $6,000, not $600,000, $6,000. Then it ended up on eBay, but the guy on eBay who bought it thought there might be something more to it, thought it was more than a replica, so he took it to Julien's Auctions, who then took it to the guitar archivist at Paisley Park. They then put it through a CT scan, and Julien spent $6,000 to rent a CT scanner, and they were able to confirm that it actually was Prince's cloud guitar. They said that it's one of those where he changed it. They said when you see him playing a black cloud guitar in the 80s, that's his guitar. When you see him playing a peach one, that's this guitar. It has layers of paint underneath, which is why you could tell it was Cloud 3. It's been modified so many times. So that's going on auction shortly and is expected currently to raise probably around 600,000, although they don't really know. Obviously, it depends on the day. So that will certainly be something that's worth keeping an eye on. Another little bonus came recently from Sunset Sound Studios, where Prince obviously recorded many of his famous tracks and had a long association with. And Sunset Sound Studios on their YouTube channel have released a Prince medley. It's a piano rehearsal from February 1984. It's February the 7th, 1984. And he was basically rehearsing a number of tracks. And what is fascinating here is A, it's beautiful, really beautiful. And B, just playing that, the crystal clear sound quality is fantastic. But also it's fantastic to kind of see what tracks you can name, what tracks there are, and how many hit you and how many are slightly different. And it's just really fascinating. I'll put a link to the piano rehearsal in the show notes. And it's really worth checking out. It's, I think, about 15, 16 minutes long. Prince's piano rehearsal in February 1984 on Sunset Sound. Anyway, I'll put the link in the notes. The other thing, a little, I say news, it's a kind of idea that struck me. We've talked previously about Prince merch, and the Prince group Housequake, the housequake.com on Twitter, or X as it's now known, made a good point that they said, what if the Prince store added an official fan merchandise section where fans or artists can sell without any copyright hassle and give a percentage of the profit margin back to the artist? And they showed a t-shirt that they had made. And I thought this is a really intriguing idea. The idea that there's so much creativity in the Prince fandom. And what if there was a way where people could submit designs to the estate, and then perhaps the estate, I don't know, choose the top 10 and say, vote on these, and here are the top 10 designs we feel, vote for the design of t-shirt or of whatever, clothing, whatever, merchandise that you think is great, and, you know, we'll make, I don't know, the top 3, the top 5, whatever. Why not, you know, get the creativity of people involved? That way we get some engagement with the community. That way we also get some great designs coming in. I mean, there's some amazing artists out there. Obviously, there's, you know, the more famous artists like Martin Homan and, you know, Spencer Derry, etc., and Blewell. But then also lots of people who aren't really well known could design something, send it into the estate. The estate could kind of maybe put it up, you know, on a kind of website and say, vote for the one you want, vote for what you want us to make. And I think that could be a really interesting way of perhaps engaging, you know, the fans. But tell me what you think. That's an interesting idea. I thought there's probably some things about it I haven't thought about, but initially I thought, yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Up next, I want to say a huge shout out to Vas Christian. He runs welcometothedawn.org, and again I'll put a link in the show notes, and he writes some fantastic articles. And recently he wrote this incredible article called Roadhouse Garden, The Lost Prince and the Revolution album. It's incredible. It's, you know, a substantial read. It reads like a really well written, informative, interesting, fascinating book about Prince, and specifically this time about the Roadhouse Garden. There are previous articles on there which are just superb. I mean, Exodus, just amazing. Now, I won't talk too much about the article itself because I'm very much hoping in the future to get Vas Christian on here. We've met recently and wined and dined, and well, I say that he bought me a sandwich, so I suppose in a sense he wined and dined me. But we met up. I'm incredibly lucky to know him on a personal level, and one of the nicest guys I've genuinely ever met. Just incredibly generous, and I aspire in so many ways to be like him. And I want to say this is an incredible article, really detailed. It's interesting because I've seen so many people in the Prince community give this article so much respect, and so many people on various places and some places, you know, like Prince.org, which isn't the easiest place to please at the best of times. And across the board, I've seen so many people say this is an incredible article, and clearly an enormous amount of work's gone into this article, and it's just fantastic. It's just an absolute joy to read. It makes me want a book, and I have nagged him. I said, right, you've got to write a book. This is incredible. Anyway, that's welcometothedawn.org. The link is in the show notes. And finally, last but not least, Purple Rain. Purple Rain 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray is coming out. It's released, I think, on the 29th of July in the UK, certainly. I don't know if it slightly changes in the United States, but certainly in the UK, it's the 29th of July 2024. You can buy it at lots of places. I think HMV have it, and various other places have it. Basically, it is, as I say, a 4K version of the movie. You've got features which have been released before, but they are still great features. The commentary by Albert Magnoli, Robert Cavallio, and Donald E. Thorin. We've got a featurette, First Avenue, The Road to Pop Royalty. and it includes music videos: Let's Go Crazy, Take Me With You, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, Purple Rain, Jungle Love, The Bird, and Sex Shooter. It also has Purple Rain's backstage pass behind the scenes, although again this has previously been released, riffs, ruffles and a revolution, the impact and influence of Purple Rain, the MTV premiere, party original broadcast, and Prince's movie trailer gallery. So it's in the UK, I think HMV, there are other retailers available obviously, they have it for around £30. It's interesting because obviously this is the year for Purple Rain. We expect, I mean nothing's confirmed, but we expect a big announcement possibly around the time of the celebration shortly, so maybe something will happen then, we don't know. But at the moment this is out there. It'll be interesting to see what they do if they do a super deluxe, because obviously this could potentially blow this release clean out of the water. But getting Purple Rain in a kind of, hopefully looking better than ever would be, quite interesting to see. I'd love to see the quality of this and, how good is it? How much difference does it make? Because sometimes you notice a lot of details that you just didn't notice before, and you take in different things and it hits differently. So that'd be really interesting to see. I think some people are disappointed that it's not obviously got lots of unreleased scenes or various new things. That is something that may happen later in the year, although we just simply don't know at the moment. But I think we're nearly halfway through the year. We have to be very close to an announcement of Purple Rain. They've been building up for this, and so I think now the stage is set and it's time to get this party on the show and the show on the road, and hopefully they'll do a fantastic job. And excuse me, I'm losing my voice, I'm so excited by it. They'll do a fantastic job, and we will really be there. We'll be there. We'll be perfectly happy, and it will exceed our wildest expectations. I can only hope. Anyway, really, really good to talk to you again, and hopefully I'll see you really soon. Please take care of everybody.